The Triple M Grill Team.
Turn Gus, MG and Matty on 6 till 9 weekdays.
Now, Pagey, there was a music festival on the weekend, Stereosonic, and what's come out of that is there were 200 arrests and kids charged with drug offences after that music festival. And what it shows is the fact that that tragic death of the young 19-year-old girl, Georgina Barter, has failed any really major effect on young revellers pill popping. I mean, let's be honest, you know.
They're not learning, Matty.
Young people are risk takers. There's no doubt about that. But that is surprising. So if there's 200 arrests, you say, boy, oh boy, there's a lot of people going there. And
oh yeah, is it really cheap? Is it super cheap to actually just have a tablet and go to a dance place? Is it $5, $20?
No, I don't think it's that cheap.
Well, how are these kids affording it then?
Well, put it this way, it's cheaper than alcohol.
Well, I mean, kids. Let's face it, kids are getting more than $5 a week pocket money these days. You know what I mean? And the other thing about it that's amazing is the fact that at these music festivals, the police presence
is unbelievable,
is significant.
Yeah.
Like, and you're talking sniffer dogs, and the police aren't passive in their ability to search kids for drugs. Like they'll look in their mouths and all things like that. So, so the fact that there's so many young people out there just saying, you know what, I'm just going to take the risk, not only for their welfare, but also the risk of being arrested, shows how many people out there are taking drugs.
What's the drug of choice? Well, who's taken what where?
Here's interesting. In the East, Gus, it's ecstasy. Now, in the West, it's ice. Boy, isn't that alarming, MG?
Shocking. Yeah, it is. It's I watched with interest this the latest music festival, to see what kind of stats we'd get after it was all over, and to see 200 people arrested is alarming. You know, to think that this young girl who passed away not even a month ago from having a bad tablet and a bad reaction, and then you consider the cocktail of heat, fatigue and dehydration at these festivals, people taking something for the first time, it's a time bomb, just ticking away. And
there's going to be another one before Christmas. You can pretty much guarantee we'll be talking about another young Sydney sider losing their life. Of course, we hope not.
Yeah,
but if there's 200 arrested, how many got away with it?
That's the thing. I mean, if they caught 200,
so thousands probably got away with it.
Well, my endearing image... Well, not endearing image, but my image that stuck with me at the when we went, me, the hillbilly, and Pagey took my son Jack along to Big Day Out. He wanted to go, and I said, only if I go. And bring Pagey as well, because, you know, Pagey's a really good role model to have there.
He's a great moral compass.
But I said, you know, and I'll catch up with you every hour and a half.
Yeah.
But, and this was a number of years ago, was the fact that how many young people have been led around by the cops in handcuffs.
Yeah, jumping fences and stuff on the run.
It was amazing. So there you go. But yeah, the real.
So why are they jumping fences to run away from the police?
No, they're so high, mate.
They're just out of it.
Yeah, off chops, really. And really, come on. If you didn't really take heed of that passing of the young girl, well, they're never going to, are they?
That must concern you, MG, that they're saying the drug of choice in the West is ice. I mean, if you've got a neighbour or something like that and you know, look, marijuana's illegal, but if you know your neighbour smokes a joint every now and then or whatever, you're probably not too worried.
Ice is
smoking ice.
Yeah, that is, mate. And I've seen it firsthand. I've seen people coming out of different pubs and stuff who are affected by it. And you can tell straight away.
MG, you can.
You can tell straight away.
You see people walking on the same stretch of road every day.
Yep.
No shirt on.
Yep.
Absolutely off chops.
Disillusioned.
And the drug of choice, no doubt, there is ice.
Yep.
It's a cheap drug and it's a nasty one.
Nasty. No coming back from that.
We've had a call from Peter from Riverston, one of our regular callers. And hey, Pete, welcome back.
How are you guys?
Hey,
Good
Pete.
to talk to you.
Now, mate, you're a father of four, and your oldest bloke's going through a tough time at the moment.
Yeah, mate. It's pretty shattering, Matty. I've watched him. You know, he had everything. He had a job, trade, 2 kids, wife, car, everything you want. And now he's got nothing except the shirt on his back.
So, Pete, when did he start taking ice?
About 12 months ago.
Okay, so in 12 months, all that, which is you've just explained, which is just he's flying, it's come to nothing now.
Yeah, come to nothing.
Was it pot, starting with pot, alcohol, then maybe a bit of coke or speed, then on the heavy stuff?
You're right on the nail, MG.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. What it is, you know, you start smoking a bit of pot, and that's okay socially and here and there. And then you have a few beers and all that socially, that's all really good. And then your mates go, you need a bit of speed, you know, so they try that. Then they go, ice is 200 times better, try this.
Oh,
and cheaper.
And then you're hooked.
Hey, Pete, can I ask you, what does it do to your son?
mate, it turns him into...
the devil.
Well, I wouldn't say the devil. It makes him really withdrawn, doesn't want to go to work, doesn't want to do anything. They just want to hide from society. They turn around, they lie to you, they steal off you. You know, it just destroys their lives. But we were educated when we were young that heroin, you know, stay away from it.
Yeah,
that's
that's
the same
right.
thing. Our kids weren't, and even I wasn't educated that how bad ice was, what it does to you, and how bad it is to get them off it.
How
are you doing that, Pete? I mean, you sound so concerned. You're obviously on top of it now. How are you helping him to get back to where he was?
Well, I'll tell you what I did. I spoke to a few rehab centres. I rang counsellors and spoke to them. I worked out that ice stays in your system, it stores in your fat cells, and it'll just release after 2 years even. You have these urges to go back to it.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Wow.
So what I've been doing is change his diet to a healthier diet, and he wants to get off it. Like
Right.
he's trying to help himself now,
Good on
Yep.
you.
but it's not easy for him. You can just see him, mate. Like the shakes they get, like it's attacked his nervous system.
Yeah.
He cannot sit still. His hands can't sit still.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just so I've had him in saunas, sweating it out
Wow.
every day, and just a good healthy diet, exercise. And now what I've done is, he did. He said, "Dad, do you reckon I could go up and stay at a friend's farm?" You know, so I rang some friends up in Mudgee, and they said, "Yeah, bring him up. We'll look after him."
Well, tell you what, Pete, he's lucky to have an old man like you that hasn't turned his back on him
Oh, wow.
And not you do with your kids anyway, but a lot of people
I'm
can
gonna
put that
be
in the
honest.
too hard basket.
I'm going to be honest, boys. I turned me back on it at first, and I thought, I can't let my son die from this stuff, you know? I can't, even if it's, yeah.
Hey, Pete, can you tell me how easy... I don't know if you know how easy it is to get, but how easy he's told you it is to get?
We sat in the doctor's 2 weeks ago. The doctor said, "How do you get this stuff?" He goes, "It's easy than getting milk and bread."
My God.
Really?
I'll
Mate,
tell you what,
while you're talking, Pete, there's callers lighting up the board. We might even continue this chat after the break because it looks like there's some other people who are unbelievably touched by this ice epidemic. It's bullshit.
The parents need to know how bad it is.
Yeah.
They need to educate their kids that it's just like heroin, and you got to educate them from a young age. And basically, you got to look after them. Like who those kids hang around with, is the influence are going to be on them. You know, my son got mixed up with some bad guys, and next minute, you know, he's lost everything.
Well, I'll tell you what, Pete. I've said once before, Tommy Carroll's got a book out at the moment, and it's a ripper to have a look at. And he came in here and he was so honest with us. He told us about his battles with ice, and Tommy's a two-time world champion, an absolute mate. He was a health freak, fittest bloke you'd ever meet, the most disciplined bloke. But it got him. But mate, the good news is, mate, he's turned the corner and he's travelling great now.
Well, that's look. I've seen a lot of people on drugs and reformed. You know, my cousin went through it when we were 15. I saw her on heroin, you know, and that's sort of... I just want to see these kids get off and help them.
Good on you,
Well, hey, Pete, stay
Thanks
tuned,
for
mate.
sharing, mate.
We've got a couple of callers who are recovering ice addicts, and after the break, we're going to chat to them. You might get something out of it, mate.
Yeah, mate, I listen to you all the time, boys.
Thanks, Pedro.
Good on you,
Great.
Pete.
Love
Thanks
your
for the
show.
call.
The Grill Team. Gus, MG, and Matty Johns. Triple M Breakfast.
I've just been listening to that little grab from the Grill Team. I've got a mate whose son's going through the same thing at the moment, and it's killing his father and his mum. It's just so terrible. You know, this kid had everything. He's 28. Well, he's not a kid. He's 28 years old, and he's been given everything. Everything he was given, you know, by his parents. They did the best for him, you know. And he's hooked to this shit now. And I tell you now, I've just a bloke that's 6'3" and built like a brick shithouse. And I mean, him and his father run a fencing company, and now this bloke doesn't want to work, doesn't want to do nothing, you know. And he's in court at the moment because he got done dealing the shit.
Yeah, and see, this is the issue with the drug. They get aggressive as well, and they mistreat their family and friends, and some parents sit there and go, "Well, I just disown them and move on," but you don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just listening to that, you know. I mean, I've just been thinking about it, you know, and I'm thinking, you poor bastards, you know. I mean, like I said, they've given him everything, and maybe that's part of the bloody problem too, you know. They wanted to give him a better life than they had, you know, and they've made it too easy, I think.
Righto, Paul. Thanks for the call, mate. We're going to continue the discussion online. If you check it out, Grill Team Facebook page, during the week we put this up online and we've had hundreds of comments about the drug ice in Sydney. Grill Team, you'll find it on Facebook. You can have the discussion. Have a great day, okay, Paul?
No problems, Woody. Thanks.
Hi there. I was just wanting to put my 2 cents in for the ice epidemic you guys were just talking about.
Yeah, what do you reckon?
Well, just like from just personal experiences with like what I see with friends, you know, I'm in that young 20s age group. And I mean, I think the biggest thing that people don't realize, maybe, you know, a lot of adults with their kids and things like that, that how addictive it really can be. I've seen some friends and, you know, they've only just had it once or twice and it's just so good that the hit was so good for them that they were immediately addicted and they changed forever from then. I've met up with them a couple of times since. They probably only got onto it maybe a year ago. Completely different person.
And how has it destroyed their life?
Well, it just like meth. Meth kills the brain cells, so they immediately just became a little bit dumber. The motor just went, and they just constantly craved for it. That hit was so good that I remember just sitting with them in the car one time, and they were like, "Oh, we were going to go get on. Want to go get our hit?" And I was like, "All right, no worries. I want to go get some food as well." So went for a bit of a drive, and they went, saw their dealer, and they got it. And they literally couldn't even wait 10 minutes to get back home or anything. Had to start smoking in the car park at Macca's, and that's how addictive it is. That they cannot wait, to get back home or anything. As soon as it gets into their hands, they need to get on it, and that's how bad that drug is.
And how did their personality change when they had that in the car?
Personality-wise, once they got the hit, they probably became a lot better, actually. Beforehand, it's like they became so nervous, they were so anxious, they couldn't wait to get back on. And once they do have the hit, they become a lot calmer, probably a bit more sociable as well. Before that, it's I don't know, like an animal looking for food that hasn't eaten for 2 weeks, really. The personality is gone. They're a completely different person. And that's, after the first hit, first time that they try it. And personally myself, like I already know I've been too scared to even go near the stuff. I might have dabbled in a couple of things here and there, being a younger person myself, but can't bring myself to touch that stuff because I already see it in other people how addictive it is, and I don't know if I could control myself, and I know others couldn't control themselves. So,
mate, appreciate your phone call and your honesty. Thanks for calling Triple M, mate.
No worries.
Yeah, g'day, Woody. It's Colonel from Seven Hills. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate.
Yeah, mate, listen, I was listening to the segment through the week, and I'm listening to the segment now about this ice thing, mate. I've got a son of mine that, mate, it's just a train crash. He's 26 years old, mate. He was a champion. He held state records in athletics. He was there to represent Australia at one point. Very intelligent kid and everything. Got mixed up with the wrong crowd and, mate, got into crime. He served time in jail. He's come off the ice now and we're all trying to help him. But, mate, went into a state of psychosis. The guy's never the same. The poor kid's not the same. And, it's put a lot of distance between his mum and I. And, mate, we've had situations where we've had to put an AVO against him because he actually held his mother hostage, at knife point, brought home a gun one night and held him at hostage, had police involved. And, mate, it is a terrible drug. It's absolutely, if I had the choice of my kids, if they're going to go on a drug, you'd say, mate, take the heroin, don't take the ice.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how bad things are.
And what about his future now? What do you think? Is he off it? Is he moving forward?
Mate, he's always moving around. He's a bit slow. Sometimes you get that stare that when you look at some guys that have got that personality complex thing that like schizophrenia, where they just stare at you. And then he just snaps out of it. You might have to tell him things 2-3 times for it to compute. I don't think he'll ever be able to get a job. He's on a pension now. At the age of 26, he's on a pension. And mate, this is I feel for everyone out there that's got a relation with their son or their daughter going through this ordeal with this particular drug. And mate, look, honestly, anyone that deals with stuff, I think the death penalty is being too kind to them, and mate, it's something that it's got to be addressed nationally, and mate, it's just something that I think everybody that's involved or has had some involvement with it, whether it be a situation where they've had family or relatives or friends involved with this drug ice, mate, it's just something that they've got to do something to try to stop this and eradicate this particular disease. That's what it is. It's a disease. So, yeah.
Mate, it's very, very sad, and even just hearing you talk about it now, you know what I mean? Like, you sit there and just go, what's the way forward, you know?
Well, mate, you do everything to help. I mean, I've got my own business, and I'll get him to come up and do odd jobs for me so I can put some extra money in his pocket and stuff like that, and at times he lets me down and stuff like that because he's too tired, or, they get into a lazy mode where, they just don't feel like doing anything. They get depressed. And this is coming off the stuff. He hasn't been on it for over, say, almost 2 years now. Mm. And we're all monitoring him. He's got himself a girlfriend, which I take my hat off to her. She's unbelievable because to put up with what she's been putting up with, and she's actually done him a lot of good in that respect. But even still, the kid's never going to be the same. And there are times there that I just sit in a corner and just yeah.
Does he ever talk about regret? Regret even taking the drug?
He does. He said, Dad, I've really messed up my life, and I've realised it now, but, he's done 2 stints in jail for, robbery, armed hold-up and stuff like that. Yeah. And the first time round, I actually used to go and visit him, and I said to him, mate, if this happens again, I'm going to write you off. And the thing is, you can't. He's your son. How do you write you off your son? Mm. So, and the second time round, I didn't visit him as much because I was so annoyed with him. But even still, now he's come out and he said, I've probably made the biggest mistake of my life. I've messed up everything. And, it's got to the point where just he's realised the fact that he's done the wrong thing, and taken the drugs. He's let go of all his friends, which is a positive thing in that respect, because the friends that he was keeping were, just bad dudes he shouldn't have been involved with in the first place. And no matter, as a parent, what you do, try to pick his friends and that, they do it behind your back anyway. Mm. So, that's basically where it all fell apart. And, then it created a lot of arguments. In spite of all the differences my ex-wife and I have had, it just put a lot more distance between us, because then we started blaming each other whose fault it was. And, it just became a massive argument through that. And, but at the end of the day, we sort of pulled together and say, hey, we've got a problem. How do we fix this? Let's try to fix it, and that's what we've been trying to do,
And just tell me, if anyone comes across like a family member or a good friend who's starting to get involved in it, what would you do differently that you didn't do? What's your advice to them?
I would try to counsel them. Try to tell them what the dangers are, and what I would probably even do is introduce my son to them and let him tell them the story of what it does to you, because he's one of those guys now. I'm hoping that with all this rehabilitation that he's had, counselling, and also with the fact of his family being behind him, I hope he's going to pull through and perhaps be a counsellor himself. Where he can go out and, tell young kids and other people, not just young kids, even older generation that want to try it. Say, mate, don't. This is not the way to go. It just ruins your life. You lose everything. You create enemies. People don't want to talk to you. You become alone. You're a loner. you don't have many friends. The only friends that you probably tend to keep in that circle of friends is people that take the ice, and it just makes you sort of part of that circle, you know. And what happens there is you're drawn to it, you know. So my suggestion to people is, you know, really just don't touch it. Don't go near it, you know. Don't do anything about it. And I think government should also look at putting centres together in order to educate people a lot better on drugs. And the funny thing about it, when these kids were growing up, my wife and I took them to the Life Education Centre up at King's Cross, and you know, I took them there as early as a young age and showed them people, you know, they're on the knot on the street. So see, that's what drugs do to you, you know, and. Take them to the Life Education Centre, teach them about drug needles and what they can do, the diseases you pick up and everything like that. And, you know, to try to bring them up. My other 3 kids turned out okay, you know. It's just that with the one boy that just virtually, you know, went astray, you know, went the wrong way, you know. I'm in another relationship now, and I've got 2 young kids there, and, you know, I preach to them every day about drugs and, you know, tell them what they do. You know, try to educate them at this age, and they're only 7 and 5. And you've got to start as early as you can to let them know what the dangers are, you know.
Good stuff, Andrew. You're a good man, mate. I appreciate you giving us a call as well.
Yeah, not a problem, mate. Anyway, yeah, mate, I listen to the Grill Team all the time. It's a great show. You know, I started listening a couple of years ago, and, mate, even my missus, she was listening to the boys on 96.5, and she's gone on to Triple M now, and she realises, you know, that it's a great station to listen to, and with the footy and that, you know, we enjoy the you know, the broadcast. You know, we listen to Ray Warren and the boys. So
you're a good man, mate. That's what we want to hear.
Nah, mate, it's good. I like Triple M. I'll get a job there. I probably would too, mate. That's what I would do.